Very good evening. So it's Bank Holiday Monday, so it's not. We don't normally go on, and we weren't planning on going on, but we thought Freddie gave us a call. I was on my way past the office. Freddie was on his way to the office, so we said,
couldn't help ourselves but come in.
Let's go in and do a live and have a quick look over the MGB. So the MGB is being given away tomorrow. If you haven't got your tickets yet, it's well worth grabbing some tickets now. There's about 200 tickets, 211 last time I looked. So 10 o'clock tonight is the final opportunity to get your tickets for that. So well worth grabbing a ticket for £9 now if you can.
Absolutely. Welcome to everyone that's joining us. We hope you had a lovely bank holiday weekend. We're going to be live for probably 10-15 minutes. So if you have any questions for either myself, Craig, or there's any other vehicles in here you'd like to see in a little bit more detail, then drop us a comment and we'll read out as many live on air as we can.
Yes, so it's just the two of us. Molly's not here, as you can see, otherwise she'd be in front of the camera. So it's just myself and Freddie who've just been here and behind the camera. So yeah, like Freddie said, if there's anything you want to know, we're going to keep it fairly informal. We'll have a really good look at the car. We'll have a look at anything else that you see here. I mean, we were just discussing off air a second ago, most of the cars, we always say it every week, most of the cars in here are competition cars. But there is probably a story to all of the cars in here, so we'll go through that. But the key one for tonight is, there's a fly on the car, is our MGB GT. So the story of our MGB GT, we have done absolutely nothing at all on this car. Now, if you're local to Suffolk, because we're based in Suffolk, you will probably know this car because it's been to a lot of the car shows, it's in a lot of the car groups. And the reason we acquired this car is simple. We were the main sponsor of Helmingham Hall, the Festival of Classic Cars, which was 2 weeks ago now, was it? It wasn't last week, 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago?
I think it might be
some
3
time
weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago. We were the main sponsors and we were setting up, and Tony, who we know very well, who does our chroming, he came over with another gentleman because they're on the MGB stand, and they just basically came to say hello. And then they happened to say there's an MGB for sale on our stand. So we went over and had a look at it and bought it. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning and we just basically said, yeah, we'll have that. There's, you know, a couple of little bits here and there. It's one of those cars you could, I don't think you could restore it because it would take too much to make it absolutely perfect when it doesn't need to be. We looked at it and we were like, oh, there's a little bit of paint here and there you could do. But we just really didn't want to because I think it would just spoil what they say, the patina. It would spoil that. It's so right and straight as it is.
This is it, I agree. And I'm in the fortunate position where I get to photograph most of the cars we do as competition cars. So I've had a fair few MGBs to test drive.
And didn't you drive this back?
I did, yeah. Drove it back from Helmingham and then drove it on the photo shoot as well. And it was one of the tightest, if not the tightest MGB we've had in. So yeah, seems like a really, really nice example, and it's going to be a lovely prize.
So the car came from South Norfolk to Helmingham Hall, so it drove there, and then he dropped it off at our stand at the end of the day, and we brought it back, and like Freddie says, it drives absolutely spot on. Everything about it is right. Door shuts are right. It's just a solid MGB, so I think it's a real good one just to leave alone and keep as it is, and it could be yours, £9.
Absolutely. It's good to see plenty of people joining us. If you do have any questions for either myself or Craig, then give us a shout and we'll answer them live on air. Or if there's any cars in this building that you want to see in a little bit more detail, let us know. We'll be live for another 10-15 minutes, something like that.
If you want to talk about your bank holidays, because there's loads of stuff actually going on. We'll go on to the Lambretta in a minute, but I've had loads and loads of photos. Have you had the photos off Gordon?
I have. Well, for the next competition car?
No, the Lambretta photos.
Oh, no, I've not then.
So there's a massive Lambretta show. I'm not sure where it is. I want to say it's Scotland somewhere, but if you're watching along and you know about it, and I'm talking massive. I mean, I think there's about 2,000, 3,000 Lambrettas that have turned up on this field. So I've got videos and photos, so we'll put them on next week. But there's a massive following for Lambretta. So this weekend, obviously being a long bank holiday weekend, there's quite a lot going on. Seen loads of classic. I went to the beach today, to Aldeburgh, and there was classic cars out. Loads of campers out at the moment as well. That seems to be a big thing, the campers.
Simon Smallman's dropped us a comment and says, when's the big Healy scheduled to be a prize?
Good question. I don't know. When is that? Do you know?
We don't know, no. The South African Healy,
yeah, oh, well, that's a good point, actually, yeah. So I think it must be nearly ready now from the workshops, but we've got to wait for the paperwork to come through. So we've applied for the DVLA. We're just waiting for the paperwork to come through.
I take it that's the big Healy. You wouldn't
but
really
then
call
have we spoken about the big? Have we spoken about the 3000?
I don't think so. We can reveal it live on air, why not?
Okay, yes. So there's an Austin Healey 3000, which has come over from South Africa at exactly the same time as our Lotus did. So we're just waiting. So I don't know if it's got the South African plates still on it. I'll have a look. So they're both South African cars, which, if you know your cars, yeah, they tend to be right-hand drive. They tend to be in very good condition. So we love it. We have a contact over in South Africa who's brilliant. He's a retired. He's not a car dealer or anything like that. He just loves cars. So he ships a container over with 3 or 4 cars in it. And then we open the door and reveal what we've got to play with.
So Simon, if you want to see more information about that car, then head to the project section of our website. So that's not the competition website, that's the main website, which is bridgeclassiccars.co.uk. There's then a projects tab, and you'll be able to see every car that we're working on. And there's a blog post pretty much every single day on each car.
But answer to your question, we're literally in the hands of the DVLA, because I would have thought it's going to be ready within the next couple of days, this week maybe, and it's just a case of the paperwork coming through for both the Lotus and the Healey. But obviously, if you're talking about our Sprite, that's even sooner. I want to say, is that even shot? Is that shot?
It's not shot, but it's
very soon.
Just had the final sign-off of the workshop, so it'll be one of the next vehicles to be photographed. I think Wednesday next week we're looking at.
So we've done a lot of work on this car. We didn't plan to do a lot of work on this car. This belonged to, now I should remember his name, and I should have looked up. Do you remember the gentleman's name who won our, no. Oh, I'm gutted about that because I'm pretty good with names. There was a gentleman that won, you can look at it back on the website, he won a Frog Eye off us, and we went up there to deliver the car, and he happened to have a blue one, which you can actually see in the winner's photo, standing next to the one he'd won. And he said, I don't need to, so we literally took it out, put it in the trailer, which was going to come back empty, and brought it back here. And in all honesty, we expected it to be probably good to go. But like a lot of classics, they have a story, and this one unfortunately had some welding bits that had been done not brilliantly at some point in its life. So we thought we'll strip it right back, and then one thing turned to another, and it was like a full paint job. Then it was this, then it was that. So it's taken us longer than we expected. We've had this car for probably 6 months, a little bit less than 6 months now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But like Freddie said, it's been signed off, so it's just a case of Molly jumping in it, giving it a drive, and then that will be probably in the next couple of weeks.
No Union Jack on the roof, though, of this one. I know that was quite Marmite with certain people.
I love that. So I bought that car in auction, that's right, I remember it now. It had the hard top, didn't it?
It did,
the
yeah.
Cream Union Jack.
And it went up to Scotland, so I wonder if they've kept their Union Jack on it. My money is saying that it's probably...
Hopefully, if you're watching along, if you won that car, or if you're watching along and are on our website, tell us what the name of the chap was, because it's going to really bug me otherwise. So yes, this is the story of this car, but really we're on for the MGB, £9 a ticket, the final 200 tickets. You've got until 10 o'clock tonight to pick up your tickets, and then that's it. You can't get any more. We'll go live tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with Molly and the whole team, and someone will win this car. But there are only 200 tickets left, so grab them now, because it's probably likely to be a sellout. But even if it's not, we'll go ahead with it anyway.
So Simon clarified that he was talking about the big Healey, the South African Healey next door, so that's all good.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Gary's dropped us a comment saying, hey Craig and Freddie. Hey Gary, how are you doing? How's your weekend? Let us know.
Yes. What did you get up to? So Freddie did DIY this weekend.
Did so much DIY this weekend.
It was all right weather, wasn't it? Yesterday had that shocking downpour here.
It was a nice enough weather for me to get burnt out in the garden
really? Did you see the rain?
Table. I didn't see the rain because I was asleep in the afternoon. Yeah,
as you do, yeah, when you don't have kids.
It.
And then we've got our Lambretta as well. So 50% sold. Are we at that point yet?
I don't think we're even at 50% sold, to be honest with you. I think we're under 50%, but it's still on the launch sale price. So
it's really good odds on this one. I've seen quite a few comments on Facebook about it. Some people are saying £4.50. Is that too pricey for a ticket on a Lambretta? We don't know. That's the thing. We try and go by what people say. And it's like if you'd have knocked it down to £1 a ticket or £2 a ticket, then obviously you've got twice the amount of tickets.
Yeah, have your say. We like the idea of having a really good chance of winning even with a single ticket.
Absolutely.
Let us know your thoughts on that. Gary's just jumped back on saying, had a good weekend, few beers and watched a band. Sounds awesome.
Nice, excellent. Yeah, so let us know on any future things. If you're watching along, then comment, or if you're watching along afterwards, comment and sort of go, no, I would prefer to see a lot more tickets and less price, because we kind of get it, and we juggle it all the time, thinking, well, economy's changed, and are people going to shell out? I mean, the E-Type's a really good example. We ummed and ahed on that E-Type for ages, and it's like you could do tickets for £9, but you would have 10,000, 12,000 tickets, which is still really good odds, or you could do tickets for what we did, which was £17.50, but it was 4,000. And you like, imagine 1 in 4,000 chance to win an E-Type. It's phenomenal. So let us know things like that. So, but anyway, it's £4.50 for tickets on this one. Really good odds. Do you know what the odds are? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I want to say it's 2,999 tickets.
I think, yeah, I was going to say.
If it's not exactly that, it's very close to that sort of number
So
of
yeah,
tickets.
it's under 3,000 tickets at £4.50. So really good odds on that one. You had exceptional odds on this one. Was it 2,500 or thereabouts on this one at £9 a ticket? And like I say, there's 200 tickets left, and it will be drawn tomorrow morning, whether it sells out or not. So.
That's a very good point. It's difficult to say right now whether they'll go, but once the tickets go, that's it, they're closed. So if you do like the look of our MGB, don't leave it till 10 o'clock tonight when the competition closes. Jump on now and pick up your tickets. And it could well be you that we're calling tomorrow morning, so not long to wait at all on this one.
So let's talk about some of the other cars as well. We've spoken about these, but we'll go back to these shortly. Obviously, everybody knows our little Mini. That gets loaded up tomorrow morning first thing, and that goes to its new owner. Who's very much looking forward to it. It's taken some time, but for no other reason other than it's just our transport trying to get it up there. But that is on its way tomorrow, and the exciting thing is we're picking another car up to bring back on the way, and I'm really, really excited. It's a modern one, which we don't tend to do modern ones. We chuck in a couple of modern ones every now and again. This will be a modern one that hopefully we'll pick up, all being well. Obviously, we've got to look at it first, and that could be coming back with us tomorrow.
Can indeed. Simon's dropped us a comment on the Lambretta, just saying the most desirable Lambrettas are the Italian ones. The later Spanish jet ones are not quite as desirable. So
someone
not one
said
for
that.
him.
Yeah.
And Danny Bicknell's jumped on and left us a comment saying, "You've convinced me buying a ticket for the lovely GT." You will not be disappointed, Danny. I've got an MGB myself, and I'd swap in a heartbeat for this one. You'll love it.
But then go back to the Lambrettas. I mean, someone said to me a long time ago with camper vans, it was Rob who owns a car auction that we frequent quite a lot. And he said about camper vans, T2 camper vans, he's like, don't touch them because whatever you get, someone will say it's wrong. Because they always want something different. But this has got such a massive cult following that, I mean, like I said, that event that's gone on this weekend, 3,000 bikes, and I bet you they're all different. I bet they're painted all differently. This came with Cowboys, was it the Fantastic 8 or whatever it was?
Yeah.
And it was like, should we keep that because it's part of the story of the bike? But then most people in the workshops are saying, no, get rid of it and put proper decals on it, which is why we've done that. But someone obviously liked the Cowboys on it. And I think it's one of those bikes, it's not going to please everybody, but it's going to please a lot of people.
Absolutely. Well, Simon said he's bought a ticket nonetheless.
Good. Thank you. Excellent. So £4.50 is your tickets on this one. About half sold, or not quite half sold at the moment. But you've got about another week or so on this one to get your tickets. You haven't got a week or so on the MGB. It's £9 a ticket for that. There was 200 tickets before we started this video, but I'm sure there's less now, and I'm sure as it gets closer and closer to 10 o'clock, I think it will sell. I think it will sell out.
It's going to be close either way, isn't it? But I just wanted to give the interior another
I think
look.
you're looking at my favourite bit because the interior was the standout for me. The yellow piping is amazing. But it has been restored in its lifetime, not by us. Don't think it needs to be, in all honesty. It's just so right as it is. My personal opinion would be totally just leave it alone and enjoy it.
I love the Inca yellow. Yellow's always a little bit divisive for certain people, but this golden Inca yellow really looks smart.
Let's move on to the Cortina.
So some of you may recognise
the Cortina. The Cortina's been in and out of the workshops quite a lot. So I'll tell you the story of the Cortina and how we acquired it. And the reason why we're talking about this in this building is because we tend not to repeat our competitions much by having the same cars, but we ummed and ahed whether to do it with this one, and we have, I think, made the decision that we'll do this one as a competition again because it did very well last time. And it's such a lovely story, this car. So we were approached by, this is one owner, well technically, when we first bought it, it was one owner from new. A gentleman contacted us his father owned it and unfortunately passed away, so it was handed on to him. He kept it for many, many years himself, and then Ford wanted it on the stand a couple of years ago now, 4 years ago, wanted it on the stand at the Birmingham NEC. So he said, I'm probably going to sell. He wanted us to value it first of all, so we valued it, not knowing that he wanted to sell it. So it was the right price, everything about it was right. We didn't sort of value it because we wanted it or anything like that. And he said, right, well, I'm thinking I'll probably sell it after the NEC. And he stuck to his word. So he contacted us again and said now it's ready to go. And Gordon, who I own the company with, Gordon's my father, he absolutely loves these. So he originally bought it and said, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it and I'm going to use it. And then we sort of made the decision because a lot of people were looking at it as sort of on the videos for the competitions and saying, is it going to be a competition car? So we said, okay, let's make the decision to have it as a competition car. So cut a long story short, it was won probably about a year ago. And the gentleman who won it, again, I can't remember names. I should probably look at this before I come live.
We have too many winners. It's a different name each week. It's difficult to keep track.
He was so excited to receive this car, but unfortunately circumstances changed and his modern everyday car, the engine blew up. I think it was a truck, I'm not really sure. So he said, I can't keep the car anymore, do you want it back? So we had it back. And it's sat with us ever since, and we've taken it to shows and we've enjoyed it, and it's stayed in the hangar, which is where we used to do our videos from. And if you come to our shows, you would have seen it sitting in a bubble. And then it's like, well, it deserves more than being sitting in a bubble. So we made the decision it's going to be a competition car again.
Lots of positivity about the Cortina. Gordon is on. He's saying, good evening, guys. Bought 3 comp cars this weekend, 2 that you don't even know that are coming.
Our Gordon.
Our Gordon.
Didn't even know he had Facebook.
So yeah, we got
What,
two
what's
additional
he saying?
cars.
3 cars?
We've got 3 cars that are coming tomorrow. 1 that we know about and 2 that are surprise.
Well, I know of 2. So does that mean there's 5?
We'll find out tomorrow.
What, so
Stay
he's
tuned.
3. He said there's another 3 we don't know about.
There's 2 that we don't know about. I think that
So
I
there's
don't
4
know about.
coming. So we know about 2 of them. Should we talk about the 2 that we know about? Or do you not want to talk about cars that we don't know about?
I'm excited to reveal those at a later date, so I don't want to be mingy, but I think we should leave
I like
that.
talking about them now. Okay, all right. Then we have our Lotus, which is, we're just waiting for the DVLA to send us the paperwork for the Lotus and the Austin Healey, which is, we've got some, when you think about it, we've got some incredible cars coming up.
This is, I mean, we're talking a month in advance now for the next lot of cars, so I don't want to reveal anything too early, but there's some lovely stuff coming through the workshop.
So this is quite special because this has got a Toyota engine in it. Apparently it really does go well. I think we've had it up and running now, I'm not sure.
Well, it's going to the rolling road in a few weeks' time, so we should be able to get a power print out at the end of
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. What else have we got?
We've got the bike.
The Virago. Okay, so let's talk about the Virago. So the Virago we've got on the 27th of September. If you come to our car shows, if you know about our car shows, they have become big. They started off relatively small about 6-7 years ago, and then obviously as things grow, we've grown. More and more people are coming to the car shows. So we thought, let's try a bike show. We tend not to do bikes, in all honesty, because you tend to find bikes are done sort of by a one-man band at home nowadays. So we love doing bikes. We have our own bikes. That's my Suzuki over there. I've got a Ducati at home as well, which I use more. This is Gordon's Lambretta. So we do bikes, but we tend not to work on bikes. And then we acquired the Virago. So we said, right, let's do a bike show or a bike meet or a bike gathering. We don't really know what it is, but it's completely free to come. It's on the 27th of September. If you're keen on bikes, if you don't own a bike, you can come. It's not like you have to have a bike to come. We've got absolutely loads of concrete space outside, so the more the merrier. The bar will be open. I think we've got some music here. We've got a really good food stall that's coming. That looks absolutely amazing. But the key thing is, we're going to give this bike away. And it's going to cost you absolutely nothing. All you need to do is come along. You need to come along. You need to register to say that you would like to be in the draw to win the bike. And then Molly will be here and she's going to draw the bike live. So you can't buy tickets online because you can't buy tickets full stop. So hopefully, all being well, when we do the draw, someone will be standing in this room right now, where I am now, and they will be able to have the keys to this bike.
That will be nice, because we haven't done a live handover.
No.
Yet, because whenever we've had live studio audiences, unfortunately no one in the audience has had that winning ticket. Whereas with this bike, unless someone goes
unless
home
they go
early,
home. That's the thing. I mean, that would probably be our luck. They'll go home. But yes,
great.
in theory,
the keys,
they can only register when they come on the day, so you know they've been here. And it's going to cost you absolutely nothing. There is no catch at all. And honestly, it's not going to be anything other than you come and have a look at the bike. If you fancy winning it, then enter. for that night. So that's the 27th of September. So if you're free, if you've got a bike, brilliant. If your mates have got bikes, tell them to come along, and you can come and go as you please. You can stay for as long as you like. If you just like bikes, then come along as well. It's not like you have to have a bike to come. But I'm looking forward to that one because we've not done a bike meet before.
And we've not done a completely free competition either, so...
Something of that size as well. I mean, you can do tickets, you can do watches, you can do things like that, but to actually give away a bike, I think will be quite special. What else have we got in here? A robot?
We've got the TVR.
TVR is very soon. I'll have to probably look at Freddie to see which one's next. What one's next?
TVR is next.
TVR's next. So that's been shot?
That has, yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be very soon. Can we say how soon? I know you don't like talking about...
There's one car and then the next car, so it will probably be next week that it goes live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week then is our TVR. I think that's going to be a really popular one because we took that to Helmingham Hall and put that on the stand, and a lot of people were talking about that, asking whether it was for sale. A couple of people wanted to buy it. So I think hopefully that will be a good competition.
You certainly don't see very many on the roads. So,
you don't? No.
Be a very interesting car for somebody to win.
And then finally we've got our DB24, which unfortunately is not a competition car. You'd need far too many tickets or far too high a price for that. Maybe one day.
It's sitting pretty. It looks so lovely that we can't help but have it on display in this room.
We try not to have non-competition cars in this building, but sometimes it just helps for space to have it.
We can make an exception for the...
Like Freddie says, it's absolutely stunning. So we've been restoring that for some time now. It's a couple of years, I reckon. That will become a Mille Miglia race car. It was supposed to be last year, but it just needed a lot more work than any of us and the owner who purchased it at the time, because it was bought in auction. It needed more work than any of us expected, so unfortunately it's just taken a little bit longer, because things like the engine alone, it was so intricate to build an engine on one of these things, so all of this just takes time. But it's nearly there. As much as it kind of looks like it isn't in places, it really is. It's really not far off at all.
Final furlong.
Yeah, and then it's just a case of testing it and testing it and testing it and making sure we're happy with it and getting it back in, making sure there's no leaks and testing it again.
So before we head off, if anyone else has any more comments about the MGB, let us know and we'll answer them live on air. But just to recap, in case you're just joining us, this competition is closing at 10 p.m. tonight, so you don't have very long to pick up your tickets. And then at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll all be back here in this room, going live on Facebook, drawing the winner of this car. And
so
if
200 tickets, isn't there? There was 200 tickets available before we left.
There is, yeah, not very many left at all.
And it's £9 a ticket. And obviously, whilst you're on buying your ticket for that, you may as well buy your ticket for the Lambretta, because it's only £4.50. Is that a sale price at £4.50?
That's a sale price, yeah.
So they're going to go up at some point. So yeah, you might as well spend £13.50 and get yourself into both draws. But yes, we'll see you, like Freddie said, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Is there any other questions before we go?
Not a question, but Gordon's just dropped us a comment saying, I'll be in late tomorrow, need to pick up one of the awesome cars. We've never had one of these before. That's the only hint we've been given.
Can't even think what it is.
We look forward to seeing.
Yes, so tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, Molly will be here, the full team will be here. You won't be able to buy any more tickets for this because tonight at 10 o'clock is the final time you can buy tickets. But tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, this will definitely be given away. So between now and 10 o'clock tonight, it's £9 a ticket. There's only about 200 tickets left, so grab your tickets on it now. And the whole team will see you tomorrow, but enjoy the rest of your Bank Holiday Monday.